we're going to be doing a new giveaway.
The D&D Beyond Players Bundle.
In that bundle, we have the Player's Handbook, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Xander's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So we're going to have tons of character options.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below on the video so you're entered to win a great giveaway coming from us very soon.
Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Jameson, Alex here, coming at you with the next subclass in the subclass series, which is the Genie Warlock. So if you're new to the channel or to the subclass series, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the abilities gained in this subclass, and we're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in this subclass improve on the base class abilities. So, without any further ado, Alex, take it away.
Alright, spells. We get them to choose from. Yay. There's a lot. So, we'll put it up on the board because it's easier than try to read them all off. But the way it works is you will get the Genie spells list, and then depending on which element of Genie you get, you will also get their list. So you take the Afridi, which is the Fire Genie, you will get both the Genie spells and all the Fiery Afridi spells as well.
To choose from, because you're a Warlock. You don't just get it. You get to choose from it.
Yeah. Sorry, but it's part of being a Warlock.
Yeah. The price you pay for Eldritch Blast.
And also at level 1, you have the Genies Vessel, which you can choose what kind you want it to be. I mean, I don't know how you don't pick a lamp unless you're just trying to be funny with it, but really creative, because to me, I just can't get past the genie lamp.
Yeah,
that's
pretty.
I just can't. That's just personal. Anyway, the vessel is a tiny object, and it can be used as a spellcasting focus for your Warlock spells. And also, while touching the vessel, you can use it in the following ways. The Bottled Respect. As an action, you can magically vanish and enter the vessel, which remains in the space you left. The interior of the vessel is an extra-dimensional space, the shape of a 20-foot radius cylinder 20 feet high, and resembles your vessel. And you can have it, kind of decorated out to be comfortable, and all this kind of stuff. You can remain inside the vessel to a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency bonus. You exit the vessel early if you use a bonus action to leave, if you die, or if the vessel is destroyed. So don't die inside. How you're going to die inside your thing.
Maybe you have something that's hurting you every turn or something.
Any objects left in the vessel remain until they are carried out, or the vessel is destroyed, all that kind of stuff. And once you enter the vessel, you can't again finish a long rest. So, little hideaway. But there you go. Also, you have Genie's Wrath. Once during each of your turns, when you hit with an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal your proficiency bonus. The damage type is turned by your patron. The Earth is bludgeoning. The one is, Jeannie is thunder. Free fire, Merid cold. Makes sense. I thought all those are elemental except for the Tao is just bludgeoning because they don't have
no earth damage.
Yeah, there's no ground or rock damage in there. But there you go. 2 extra things to do with your vessel.
Yes, and some other side notes on here as well. The AC is equal to your spell save DC.
Yes, it's
so that is what it is. And its hit points equal your Warlock level plus your proficiency bonus. But it is immune to poison and psychic damage. Mm-hmm. So depending on how nice or mean your DM is, if they try to focus onto your thing and blow it up, it's definitely breakable. They can break.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if the vessel is destroyed or you lose it, you can perform an hour ceremony to make a replacement for it. So it's not permanently gone. Yep. But it does have the ability to break, which can be a little sketchy.
But it also specifies you can get it back during a short or long rest. So it's one of those things where it won't take extra time out of your normal rest to be able to create it. So
yes,
you just don't have you can't use it again until you have access to some sort of rest. Exactly. Basically.
Then at level 6 we have Elemental Gift. You take on a characteristic of your patron. You have resistance to the damage type determined by your patron, bludgeoning for Tao, thunder for Jeannie, fire for Afridi, or cold for the Merid. In addition, as a bonus action, you can yourself flying speed of 30 feet that lasts for 10 minutes, during which you can hover. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So you can fly and you get some resistances. Nice survivability tools on there.
Especially for a caster.
Then at level 10, we have Sanctuary Vessel. When you enter the Genie's Vessel via the Bottled Respite feature, you can now choose up to 5 willing creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you, and then choose creatures, and the chosen creatures are drawn into the vessel with you. As a bonus action, you can eject any number of creatures from the vessel, and everyone is ejected if you leave or die, or if the vessel is destroyed. So you can't just hide in there indefinitely. In addition, anyone, including you, who remains within the vessel for at least 10 minutes gains the benefits of finishing a short rest, And anyone can add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit dice as part of a short rest there. So a nice way to get some spell slots back as a warlock for just 10 minutes.
Very quickly, yeah.
And give everyone a little bit bonus healing as well in there. But note as well, it can still be destroyed while you're all in there. You just get ejected out. And it's not going to have tons of health. So either hide it before you go into it or do something.
But I could definitely see you being, as a party, you're doing some kind of like investigating, espionage situation. And you hear footsteps coming down the hallway, or the homeowner's back early. Quick, everybody hide.
Right.
Everybody in the lamp. So definitely could see it being a saver at that point.
Yes.
Finally, at 14, you have Limited Wish. You ask your patron to grant you a very small wish. Very small. It's an action. You can speak your desire to your Genie Vessel, requesting the effect of one spell that is of 6th level or lower and has a casting time of 1 action. Spell can be from any class's spell list. You don't need to meet the requirements in that spell, including costly components. This spell simply takes effect as part of the action. Yeah. So I think of, again, Cleric comes to mind as like, oh, you can cast Revivify without having to have all the diamond dust on hand.
Right.
Once you do this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish 1d4 long rest. So anywhere from 1 to 4 days before you can use this feature again. But it's one of those things where you've got an oh crap button in the back pocket. Really,
right.
If you really need it for something, this exists.
Yeah, it does have some limitations as it is an action to cast it. So you can't do like a reaction spell, like a counter spell or something with it.
Yeah,
because there's that caveat on there.
Right.
So the spell limitation is a little bit more than just 6th level spells and lower, so keep that in mind. But definitely having the ability to do so can come in clutch.
Yeah, and to reach outside of your normal spell list, too.
Right.
Into the, AKA, you're going to go to the wizard spell list, because they can learn almost everything.
Yeah. All right, but those are all the abilities gained in the subclass, so move on into the rating portion of the video. First up is the roleplay value, asterisk, as always, guys. When we're talking about the roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside of the initiative order.
Right.
Not talking about acting out your class fantasy, history, lore, background. That's on you as a player. We can't rate you as a player, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass and how they might improve your potential in those roleplay scenarios. So, all that being said,
You'll be glad when this is done so you can quit saying that.
I know, right?
Because we're right around the corner for this.
Yeah, we're getting close. Until the next book comes out. With the roleplay department, there's lots of potential for quick, short rests in dire circumstances, especially being able to hide. And like Alex said, if someone's coming and you're trying to be sneaky, you could just all just dive into the lamp or whatever it is that you want to make your vessel.
Big dumb barbarian thunder stomps through the hallway and he draws attention. He's like, get in there and stay in there until we get done with our job.
Right. Flying can always be used in some RP scenarios. There's some shenanigans that can be done with a limited wish. It is level 14 though, so it's a little ways off on there for that. Yeah. And you do have some options with some of the spells, but again, you have to choose the spells from the list. You don't just get to know them as some of the other classes and subclasses get. So
it's one of these things that I wish you either just know the spells, or better yet, you could cast any of them that were like below level 3 or lower once a day for free,
right? Or
something to help with the fact that warlocks, even if you get 2 short rests a day,
right, you
still only got 9 spell slots for the entire day.
Yeah, you're gonna be in a rough spot. The cost for warlocks. All that being said, we just went with a 3.5 on the roleplay department. Some interesting options, but some very hefty limitations. One being once, possibly every 4 days to use.
Yep.
Another one being going into the vessel being once a day. So there's definitely some limiting factors on these roleplay options, and they're a little bit more on the niche side anyways.
Yep. On the combat side of things, you run into a similar situation of, yes, you have access to more spells to have, especially if you look at the Freedy and Merid list of having some extra damage and battlefield control spells that you maybe wouldn't have access to normally. Being able to get your spells back, while it's not necessarily strictly combat, be able to get them easier by being able to go into your vessel for 10 minutes instead of having to wait for a full hour to get your spell slots back, and definitely help in a pinch. Getting some damage resistance of a chosen kind, with fire and cold being very common, as is bludgeoning, all very common ones, and thunder pretty common as well. So all 4 of them are very good there. The fact that your vessel is immune to poison and psychic damage is helpful, but it depends on how cruel your dungeon master wants to be with you there. You get some extra damage besides just the the damage resistance of your chosen type as well. So that's never a bad thing to give yourself some extra help. And finally, you get one free spell of choice at level 6th spell or lower that could be key. But again, you're paying a hefty price to decide to use that.
Right.
So and a lot of the stuff like James said with the RP. There's some interesting stuff, very fun stuff, and even very powerful stuff. The fact that you can just pull up a spell you at will like this that you necessarily don't have access to normally, but a hefty penalty. So similar score of a 3.5 for a lot of the same reason. Really powerful, very interesting at times, but limited. So
right. And another thing to keep in mind too is having access to any 6th level spell or lower means you have to actually know your options available to you,
right?
Which is a lot for most people to be able to consider.
Yep.
Just to even know what is even possible to be used in the situation that you're in.
Yeah, I can imagine a first time a player who's never played a caster before of any kind. Like they've played barbarian, they've played fighter, they've played monk, they've played rogue, and all of a sudden here they are playing warlock and they're playing this because they're Aladdin fans, as they should be. And then they're like, oh, I'm going to pick a spell. Then you're like, oh. What other spells exist outside of your own? Because you're level 14, you're a warlock, and you're used to your own spell list. But if you're not just an avid fan of research and theory and doing some significant planning, you gotta know what all your options are.
Right, exactly. So, lastly, we have the overall class synergy. And with this, of course, you have to look at things like your spell list, your invocations, things like that. And with this subclass, there's not really a whole lot going on with either of those.
Correct.
Yes, you do get some additional options for spells.
Right.
Nothing different than any other subclass on there.
Right.
There's some minor stuff with some flying and resistances that are going to give you some survivability and some battlefield movement. That's going to maybe make you a little bit more effective in battle sometimes. But nothing too much going on overall with the synergy side of things. So we just went with a 3.5 as well on the synergy. So an above average subclass for sure. Pretty well rounded in its different categories.
Yep.
But just nothing too crazy overpowered in our opinions, and nothing crazy weak or detracting from the base class philosophy either. So interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting flavor, and it definitely feels, again, I try to bring this up in a lot of videos when we go through like subclasses. When you add content in a new game, does it feel different? Does it feel unique flavor-wise? At the very least, I think any new content should feel different than what other things. Does it stand out at least in flavor and theme? And this one definitely does. Yeah. It's a genie. You rub the magic lamp, out he comes, and there's where all your power comes from. You got a powerful friend. It's not really you. It's just he's your boy, and we're doing work. Yeah.
The one thing I'm a little surprised by with this choice from Wizards is how the genie subclass is actually a warlock subclass, not something like a sorcerer.
Yeah.
I almost feel like a sorcerer could fit more. Because then you have the meta magic that you can do all kinds of more shenanigans. But maybe that was just a little bit too ridiculous. So
this is fair.
It is what it is. But that's all for this one, guys. But before we finish, Tasha has a quote about every subclass. What does she say about this one?
I know finding housing in Greyhawk is rough, but when genies or warlocks offer you cheap rent, run.
Fair.
Yeah, because I think of genies a lot. You're not Robin Williams genies from Aladdin. Most other genies, it's kind of like a fae thing from D&D. It's
like Witcher.
Yeah, there's a Witcher. It's kind of like you can get something, but whatever you're going to get from them, is it going to be worth the price you have to pay to get it? There's going to be a caveat. There's going to be
yes.
That's how I think of D&D genies.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like no.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to know if our new videos are coming out. Make sure you comment down below. Make sure you're entered in the giveaway.
That's right.
And as always, guys, thanks for watching.